there's no doubting the fact that LIV Golf has well and truly shaken golf to its core over the past 12 months. As the biggest civil war ever to hit the game rumbles on, the Saudi-backed league have recently received more good news as they get set to head down under next season. Today we are discussing the league heading to Australia next year, as well as a message from Cam Smith. Stay tuned. First up, LIV's Pat Perez has taken aim at a certain Tiger Woods recently. One of the main criticisms of the breakaway league is that it is now making multi-millionaires of very average players. And one of those average players has recently had the gall to take a swipe at the greatest golfer the modern era has seen. Tiger Woods criticized the guaranteed paycheck aspect of LIV Golf's structure at the British Open earlier this year, questioning what these guys' motivations were to even practice if they're guaranteed money. Kind of makes sense. And the issue was brought up again last week as Perez appeared on Butch Harmon's podcast. However, he wasn't interested hearing Woods' views and immediately went on the defensive, almost certainly because he knows Tiger had a valid point, describing the 15-time major winner's words as the stupidest I ever heard in my life. Perez went on to kind of contradict himself by explaining that the incentive comes from the range of prizes on offer. He again tried to justify his point by pointing to the fact that the last place is $120,000. I mean, he's not doing himself any favors, is he? Refusing to read the room, Perez went on to add that there was now the possibility to win $4 million in each tournament. As a man who has reportedly won around $28 million in prize money over the course of his career, this simply points out the greed of Pat Perez and others involved. Perez has also given his thoughts on Phil Mickelson. Stay with us. After finishing his thoughts on Tiger, Perez quickly moved on to Phil Mickelson, whom it is blatantly obvious he has no love for. Perez has a clear hate for Lefty, a hate it doesn't seem like he will be able to get over. Discussing the 2021 PGA Championship winner with Butch Harmon, Perez explained that Mickelson did something to him which he described as unforgivable. Revealing that Mickelson crossed a line with him, he went on to say he knows that he screwed up, he apologized for the action, but I cannot forgive him for it because I've known Phil for a long time. I've known the guy forever. What happened between the pair remains a mystery, and Perez went on to reveal that in an earlier interview, the reasons he gave as to why he didn't like Phil were all cut out. He did deny it had anything to do with greed though, before explaining that Mickelson was 100% correct when criticizing the PGA Tour. However, he quickly turned on Phil again by claiming he also almost ruined the LIV Golf deal because of comments he made about it, explaining that people thought the deal wasn't going to go ahead because Phil has turned. What do you guys make of Pat Perez's words regarding Phil Mickelson? Let us know if you know any more about it below. Next up, we're talking Greg Norman's possible LIV registration. There has been a huge rumor doing the rounds recently that Greg Norman could be about to step down from his position as LIV Golf CEO. So much so that the breakaway league were forced to come out in defense of their embattled head over the past weekend. Last week, The Telegraph reported that LIV were preparing to replace their man with Mark King, former CEO of TaylorMade. He is thought to have met with Saudi public investment fund boss Yasir Al Rumayyan and has also attended various LIV events throughout the season. Norman has hit the headlines over the past 12 months or so, after various gaffes he's made. Of course, he is a golfer, not a CEO, so he cannot be expected to always be on the ball where public image is concerned. However, LIV Golf have almost certainly been watching events unfold and will be aware of how Norman is perceived, so could decide that a high-profile appointment is needed in the position. The chatter that Norman will be stepping down over the past week has seriously intensified, which has only prompted LIV Golf GM Mahed Al-Saror to come out and deny the news, saying Greg Norman is our CEO and commissioner. Any hypothesis of change relating to his office or his role is clearly false. How much longer do you guys think Greg Norman will be around the LIV Golf scene? Let us know below. Let's get into the news of LIV heading to Australia now. Stay tuned. News dropped earlier this week that LIV Golf will be heading down under next season. The breakaway league will rock up in Adelaide in April as the South Australian city won the Aussie bid to host an event. Other big cities such as Sydney and Melbourne are thought to be in the running, but Adelaide shone through at the end. The event will reportedly take place over the weekend of April 21st to the 23rd at Grange Golf Club, which was designed by, you guessed it, Greg Norman. Absolutely no nepotism here then. As we know, LIV Golf is set to expand next season and will feature 14 events. It will also mean a return for current world superstar Cam Smith and his countryman Mark Leishman. It is believed the winner will take home around $6 million Australian. When asked about the tournament making its way down under, current boss Greg Norman suggested that his home country deserved to host the world's top competition. We're not sure about that. Most expensive, yes, but it has some way to go before it's regarded as the best, and even further to be thought of as the most prestigious. Norman went on to credit Cam Smith with building a new platform for golf around the globe, before suggesting that Australia has a huge amount of potential to be a true global player in the game of golf. What do you guys make of LIV Golf rocking up down under? What else do we know then? Let's see. Well, Norman explained that he has always wanted to take the breakaway league to the Southern Hemisphere, adding that he always saw it as his duty to promote the game of golf in Australia. He also suggested that the country has suffered with a lack of quality players over the decades, but with the LIV Golf formula, the Australian public is absolutely embracing our platform. One of the biggest reasons for bringing the league to Australia was undoubtedly Cameron Smith, who Norman claimed he couldn't have done it without. He added, so for him coming on board and to see the way he has 120% embraced LIV and the LIV family concept has helped accelerate it all. Norman again doubled down on his belief that Australia has been starved in recent years and believed the multi-year contract and commitment to bring LIV Golf to Australia regularly will do wonders for the country. And South Australia Premier Peter Malinauskas also chimed in on LIV Golf coming to the country, admitting that this is exactly what our economy needs as we emerge from the pandemic. I mean, Australia only really has itself to blame for shutting themselves off from the world for so long, but Malinauskas believes the country has never seen an event like this before. What do you guys make of Norman's words? Let us know below. And finally, a word of warning from Cameron Smith. Stay with us. Given the fact that so many golfers have defected to upstart league LIV Golf over the past 12 months, the PGA Tour have moved on to try to ban those defectors for taking part in the major tournaments, and many golf fans will side with the PGA Tour, reminding LIV golfers that they shouldn't be able to have the best of both worlds. If these guys wanted to compete in the traditional major tournaments, they should never have signed with LIV Golf in the first place, right? However, Cameron Smith unsurprisingly doesn't see it that way, and as well as collecting huge checks for taking part in LIV events, he also wants the possibility of competing at the majors too, saying recently, "I think the majors really have to stand above all the politics." Smith added that if they want the best product, the best guys in the world to compete against one another, they would need to let us play. It sounds as though Smith wanted all his own way. Purists and fans of the traditional tour, however, will be more than happy with not having the major tournaments tainted by LIV greed. But of course, these pampered prima donna stars fail to understand how they are coming across, which Smith further outlined with his claims that we're definitely good enough players, we should have those spots. What do you think? As usual, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to swing by again next time for some more fun and games. And why not do us a solid by liking today's video, whilst also sharing it with any golf fans you know of. Bye guys!